Well, before I came here 25 years ago, I was pastor of a parish in southwest Detroit. At that time, it was called St. Stephen's Mary Mother Church. Now it's called Our Lady of Guadalupe. And the rectory that I lived in was a very, very old house built sometime in the 1870s. Back then, that was still the countryside. That was still far away from Detroit proper. And it had 4 floors plus an attic, had a back stairs stairway for the servants. The guy who lived there owned a brick-making factory, a factory that my great-grandfather worked in when he came from Poland, around 1900. In fact, he used to go to that house to get paid. And the office that I had as pastor was the same office that the original owner had. And the safe was the same safe built in the 1870s. Boy, they built stuff to last, I used to say that the electric there was installed by Edison, and I'm talking about Thomas Alva, we had a lot of electric work to do when I was there. Anyway, in the basement, my predecessor got a gas furnace in, but they didn't have enough money to take out the old coal stove, nor the mountain of coal that was still stored down there. I remember near Christmas time having my nephews and niece over and family over, and I took them down there and I said, now, if you're still bad, I just want you to know this is where Santa gets all the coal. And they believed me. Anyway, so I thought about a house for today's homily. And I want you to imagine your life as a house. That house I lived in Detroit, a lot of rooms. And our lives have a lot of rooms. And we use rooms for different things. Some rooms we never enter. That house I lived in, there are rooms I probably walked in 3 or 4 times my whole 3 years there. Other rooms I use a lot. Okay, that's probably true. And even our smallest homes, there are probably more rooms you go to than not. You probably don't visit the attic as often as you do other rooms. Well, if your life is a house, and you invite Jesus by virtue of your baptism to enter that house, what room do you give him? Where do you put him? I imagine for people who don't go to church much at all and maybe drag themselves here for Christmas or for Easter or maybe for a funeral wedding or something like that, they got Jesus stuck up in the attic somewhere, maybe down in the basement by the furnace. You only go down and say howdy when it's time for the big holidays. And other than that, he's tucked away and out of sight, out of mind. And then other people are more active in their faith, like you folks here who come on Sundays. You probably have a nice room for him in the house. You can see him from time to time. He's there. That's good. But here's the thing. All of us probably have some rooms that we don't want Jesus to go into. I imagine, for example, if you got a room where you you put all your anger, you store all your anger and all your grudges and all that kind of stuff, a room for that, you don't let Jesus go in there. Or maybe there's another room where you have all your fear stored. I imagine that room has a big screen TV blaring cable news 24/7, so you can be afraid all the time. And then there's probably another room you got where you have all of your hurts, all the times you felt hurt or lonely or sad or grieving because you lost a loved one. You have that room in your house. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to keep Jesus in one room, your Sunday room or your prayer room. You can invite Jesus into all those other rooms as well. And when he moves into a room, he doesn't just sit there. He goes to work to renovate the room, to make it better. Now, if you have ever done a renovation in your house, you know it can be messy. You know it can be uncomfortable. And you know that it's never going to be on your schedule. Oh, yeah, the contractor's going to say, will be done a week from Tuesday, ma'am. They ain't going to be done a week from Tuesday. They're going to be done a month from Tuesday. You know, they have their schedule. I mean, our roof, for example, is going to be done. I know it. I believe Jesus is going to come again too, but I know this roof's going to get done. You know, you're not, once you start that contract and once you start that renovation, you know you lose control. Your control is now with somebody else, that contractor. Well, so it is with the Lord. If you decide to let Jesus into that room where you have your anger, if you decide to let Jesus into that room where you store your fear, if you decide to let Jesus into that room where you have your pain and your sorrow, and he goes to work renovating it, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be challenging. It could be very well messy. But at the end of the day, when he's done, your house, your human life, your very being will be truly transformed, so that the day you stand before the gates of heaven and open wide, one of the things you'll be so happy about is that to the bottom of your soul, you'll know you really came home.